This video I found has 2 million views, guys. 2 million. I was like, okay, maybe we should add that to the playlist.
In the Naruto world and in the story as a whole are hand signs, which are seals made with the shinobi's hands that serve to mull chakra and use jutsus. The seals—
You know what? I never noticed that they stopped using the hand signs. Yeah. But I feel like it's like a common trope in every anime that you like stop. You don't have, like, if your character is strong enough, then you don't have to do like the hand sign or shout out the name of the ability or things like that. The irony is most people compare Kubo Taito's change in art style to Zack Snyder's, pretty as a single frame poster, but makes no sense as a manga. Do you guys agree with this take? Do you agree with this take, Kawasa? I mean, tons of people got really invested in hand signs. Wait, really? Wait, so people were upset that they removed the hand signs? All I think about when I think about hand signs is like that class in Final Fantasy where you gotta press when you play ninja and you gotta press a million button before you even start your first ability.
Those are actually inspired by real-life animals. These signs actually mean the same animals in real life, which is really cool. Seeing ninjas weaving hand signs like crazy is one of the coolest things in the entire series. I mean, if you're telling me that you've never tried to weave hand signs by yourself when you're alone, you're crazy, because I do that all the time.
No way! He did that in the boxing match? What? He's powering up!
You're crazy, because I do that all the time. It just feels so cool when you do it, or even when you watch the characters doing it, because you're actually good at it. There's something so smooth.
No way! Dude, maybe I need to do that before I start a stream. Power up and shit.
Signs being weaved, and that's something the anime obviously does better than the manga, because you can't really show motion in the manga, and the hand signs are extremely cool in motion, but don't get me wrong, they're also really cool in the manga. And right here, I'm just talking about
I think they still, I think there's, I don't know how I feel about this. I think I like it more in the manga. But I have a preference for mangas in general.
Cool factor. Some things are included in stories because they look cool, and
sometimes it looks a bit goofy in the anime.
Naturally, the hand signs are one of these things, but the hand signs serve way more than that.
I like the sexy no jutsu. What about the harem no jutsu?
There is an entire stats in the data books dedicated to the hand sign ability of every shinobi. So obviously, it's going to be very important for ninjas to be good at hand signs in the Naruto story. The quicker you're able to weave hand signs, the quicker you're able to use jutsus and get an advantage against your opponents. And it is also stated in the beginning of the series that the harder the jutsu, the more hand signs you'll have to weave. And there are also several strategies formed around hand signs during battles. Sometimes you have to hide yourself and use hand signs so that you don't tip off your opponent that you're using a particular jutsu. Other times you weave the hand signs so quickly that the opponent—
Isn't like... Wait, what's his name? Shit, I keep forgetting his name. I gotta Google him. What's the white-haired character from Jujutsu Kaisen? Isn't he just... I feel like he's kind of a ripoff from Kakashi, no? Gojo. Am I gonna piss off people for that? For saying this take? Yeah, Gojo. Isn't he just a ripoff from Kakashi? But I guess it is... I think... It looks like the mangaka from Jujutsu Kaisen was probably a Bleach fanboy, because they mention when they tell him that he's not gonna have any special ability, the main guy Itadori is like, what? I'm not gonna have like a Bankai? I'm not gonna have a... You know, he's... So they do name drop Bleach, kind of. What's your favorite Naruto fight? Kakashi versus Obito? Ah, that was pretty good. I don't know. It's hard to decide. There's a few iconic fights. The Gaara versus Naruto fight. The first fight they had with Haku and Sasuke and Naruto and all the you know, their squad. And I love the Madara fight. I like Madara. He's cool. Is Naruto based off a true story? No. It's actually from real tantric Buddhist insights called the 9 letters, Rinbyu Tu Sha Kai Shin Etsu Sai Den, leaving out the kanji. Oh, I said Madara, I meant. Vtuber brain, dude! I said Madara, I meant Madara.
opponent can't even see, like when
Bye, Zayla.
Itachi weaved hand signs so fast, Kakashi couldn't see them with his Sharingan. Insane. Because if you think about it, hand signs can give away what jutsu you're about to cast if your enemy is particularly knowledgeable about them. Another cool usage of the hand signs were the one-handed hand signs. We only saw them once in the very first arc when Haku used them, and they were
Haku, I like that fight.
Extremely cool to look at. They're so smooth. It's sweet. And then they never appear again. I don't know why Kishimoto set up the one-handed hand signs in the very first arc and never used them again. It's such a strange choice. You could have given the one-handed hand signs for particularly powerful and skillful characters like Sasuke, maybe Kakashi in the future. I don't know. Someone.
Kakashi's so based.
Hand signs are also correlated to some types of abilities. For example, the Tiger hand sign is well known for the fire jutsus that it casts. Most fire jutsus are going to involve the Tiger hand sign. Even when Kakashi was about to thrust his fingers into Naruto's and Sasuke was, oh no, Kakashi's gonna kill Naruto, he's gonna use a fire jutsu, that's the Tiger seal, and that's what the hand signs are supposed to be. They're a mechanic in the story that, on top of being extremely cool, can work well for strategic battles, because you have to work your way around the hand signs. Other instances of having to work around them could be not being able to weave hand signs in time to avoid an attack, such as in the Danzo versus Sasuke fight. When Sasuke shoots a Susanoo arrow at Danzo, he isn't fast enough to weave hand signs and cast Izanagi, so he has to use a wood-style shield that really diminishes his chakra. It's really good.
Wait, that's true. The Itachi and Sasuke fight was pretty cool too. It was pretty cool too. Lots of mind games.
But when there are limitations to the power system, having characters work around limitations is one of the most interesting things about storytelling, and especially when you talk about fights and a power system. If everyone is powerful and there are no limitations to the power system, they can just use their powers at will, then things are not that fun. So this begs the question, why did something so cool and good for the story die? In the end of the Naruto series, hand signs are not used that much anymore. And if we talk about Boruto, I haven't seen a single hand sign in that entire garbage.
Careful, somebody got doxxed for talking shit about Boruto lately.
But they do diminish in the end of Naruto. This is a very strange thing because you would think, oh man, this is so iconic. Why would you take it out of your story?
Yeah, but does he need to wave hand signs to channel the Rasengan? He's never used a hand sign for the Rasengan.
Well, the thing is, some jutsus don't require hand signs ever since part 1. For instance, the Rasengan. Jiraiya specifically tells Naruto...
I didn't pre-watch this, I swear.
I'm gonna teach you a jutsu that doesn't require hand signs. When Jiraiya says that, he says it in a way which means that this is a rare thing for a jutsu to not have hand signs, which makes the jutsu more powerful because the hand signs are a limitation. Learning a jutsu that doesn't require hand signs gives you an advantage during fights. Of course, there were other jutsus such as the Hyuga jutsus. They didn't require hand signs. Rock Lee's inner gates. Orochimaru also didn't use a lot of hand signs. He was able to launch those snakes without really having to bother weaving hand seals. Kidomaru didn't have to use hand signs for his arrows and his liquid skin. Kimimaro didn't have to use hand signs for his bones. Gaara didn't have to use hand signs for his sand, though he used a couple of hand signs in the fight against Kimimaro, but he was casting a specific jutsu. Most of the time, Gaara is simply moving his sand with his mind, or the sand kind of moves by itself when Gaara isn't really thinking about it. So jutsus without hand signs have existed forever. Even the substitution jutsu, you get hit by shurikens, and then you turn into a block of wood, and that's it. No hand signs required. Isn't that an amazing jutsu? I hate this jutsu. It has so many issues. I'll make a video about it eventually. But yes, even though there were jutsus without hand signs in the beginning of the story, it is very clear that the amount of those jutsus increased a lot in Naruto Shippuden, especially towards the war arc. One of the culprits is the Sharingan. Sharingan jutsus usually don't require hand signs. Basic in jutsu, you just have to look at the person. And if you talk about the Mangekyo abilities, such as Amaterasu, Tsukiyomi...
I'm gonna get triggered if I see the Deidara versus Sasuke fight again.
Kamui, Susanoo, and even Izanagi and Izanami.
Yeah,
when cast
Taijutsu
by
is a different system, so Rock Lee he shouldn't be included in that.
experienced Uchihas do not require hand signs. Now this has been established since part 1 as well. When Itachi got to the Leaf Village, he used Amaterasu and Tsukiyomi without needing hand signs. He just looked at the target and cast those jutsus. But the thing is, those jutsus became much more prominent in Naruto Shippuden simply because there were more Uchihas and they were more present in the narrative, especially powerful Uchihas who got the Mangekyo. I mean,
Yeah.
Sasuke and Kakashi didn't have the Mangekyo in part 1, so obviously they couldn't use those jutsus. And I
Yeah,
understand.
true. There is like 4 Uchiha in the late game. There is Madara, Obito, Sasuke, Itachi. Wait, and Kakashi technically. So there's 5. There's 5 of them. And then there's also the Hokage dude that's like evil, and he has stolen some eyes from the Uchiha. So actually, there's 6 of them.
Having to use hand signs for the Sharingan. I think it's a cool feature of the eye. It gives the user an advantage, just like the Rasengan
Danzo,
does.
yeah.
And yes, the Sharingan is supposed to be extremely powerful because the Uchihas are powerful. They are legendary in universe and everybody craves the Sharingan. I mean, Orochimaru wanted Sasuke ever since the Forest of Death, so there's a reason for the Sharingan being powerful. There's precedent for it. It's not as though Kishimoto said, okay, Sharingan are weak now. No, Sharingans are powerful, and it's fine for the Sharingan users not having to use that many hand signs when using their Sharingan abilities. Granted, there are a couple of abilities that would have been cool if hand signs were used. For instance, when Sasuke used Kagetsuchi, aka Flame Control with the Amaterasu, it would be very cool if he had to weave hand signs. Just seeing him with the hand signs and the Sharingan and Amaterasu, the composition panels you could do in the manga and also in the
Amaterasu
anime, the fluid
is
animation could be very nice. It was established ever since part 1 that the Sharingan abilities do not require hand signs, so it makes sense. It's fine. Not to mention that even though those abilities don't require hand signs, the characters are going to use way more abilities that do, so they're going to be using hand signs nevertheless. The real problem with Naruto Shippuden is that all of a sudden, a lot of abilities that required hand signs in part 1 no longer require hand signs, or it seems you can use the hand signs if you want, but you don't really have to. It doesn't really make that much sense, does it? For instance, Sasuke always had to use hand signs to use Chidori in part 1. In part 2, characters just ignite their Chidoris and that's it, without hand signs. And it's not just Sasuke, it's Sasuke and Kakashi. They had to use hand signs before, but now it's as though they have an on and off switch for the Chidori / Raikiri and it just activates. Also in Naruto Shippuden, most jutsus seem to have 4 to 5 hand signs at most. And in the Land of Waves arc, when we got the water dragons, boy oh boy, Zabuza and Kakashi were weaving hand signs for 3 hours. That was insane. It seems as though Kishimoto got a little bit annoyed at all the hand signs he had to use and decided to save some page time for other stuff, which is fine, but Kishimoto was also very good at drawing a lot of hand signs simultaneously when he does that drawing of the hands intertwined with several hand signs in the same panel. It's very neat and it works, but that doesn't really happen anymore in Naruto Shippuden, which is unfortunate. Now, there is an argument to be made, which is true, by the way, that the more skilled a shinobi is, the fewer hand signs he'll have to use to cast any given jutsu.
Obito.
We can see that when Madara arrives at the battlefield and simply forms
Wait, he uses a hand sign.
the horse hand sign to release the majestic
Wait, did he say the horse hand sign?
destroyer flame, which in that point of the story was by far the strongest fire jutsu we had ever seen, if you don't count Amaterasu, which is Inferno style. It's a different thing, but anyway, Madara used that massive jutsu with a single hand sign, and you could say it's because Madara is so experienced, he's so good at controlling his chakra, and that's why he doesn't have to weave 1,000 hand signs for that jutsu, which is fine. It's nice Madara showing up, weaving one hand sign and spitting all that fire.
Yeah, that was cool.
There was still a hand sign, even though it was only one. There was a hand sign. The Shadow Clone Jutsu has always had one hand sign, and it was fine. It's not as though every jutsu needs to be the Reaper Death Seal. But these problems amount much more in the war arc, especially with the 10 tails Jinchurikis. Now, I like Jubito and Jubidara, but let's be real here. The truth-seeking orbs are dull. They are a boring jutsu. Yes, they're the most powerful ninjutsu or whatever. They have every single property under the sun, but they are not engaging in a fight. They're so strong that you're just like, I mean, I don't really care, man. Yeah, they're powerful, but they look kind of whack. Now, when the truth-seeking orbs are hovering behind the Jubi Jinchuriki characters, they are cool to look at. But when you just use that power for your entire fight, it gets kind of annoying, and that power doesn't require hand
Wait,
signs.
I don't really remember them. But you know what? I like how they summon the frogs and stuff. That is cool. With the blood and the scroll. I like when they pull out the scrolls. They also stopped using like the magic papers thing.
Such a godly power wouldn't require hand signs. It's definitely controlled through your mind without the need of weaving seals, but it kind of takes away from those fights. I mean, Madara had one of the coolest usages of hand signs ever seen. Because if you don't know, Tengai Shinsei...
Planetary Devastation was a cool spell. Come on. It's iconic. It's iconic.
Meteor strike, you have to weave 3 hand signs simultaneously. So the only way you can do that is by using a Susanoo. And that's exactly what Madara does to summon the 2 meteors. He weaves 3 hand signs too with his Susanoo, while he's weaving the 3rd one. Now maybe you could use clones to do the same thing, but still, it's an interesting usage of the hand sign limitation. And then when we get Jubidara, he's not weaving hand signs anymore. I mean, sure, he weaves 1 hand sign to
I don't remember Jubidara. Who was he again?
Use Inton Raiha, and that's it. Even when he uses Ranto Koga, there's no hand sign, and of course Limbo doesn't have a hand sign. But maybe you could give that one a pass because it was
Madara,
Rinnegan
but
ability.
like...
Speaking about Rinnegan ability.
With the Rinnegan? No, he always had both eyes. Well, recently. But it's like his power-up version. Oh, it's Madara with the power of the 10 tails. Powers of the 6th path. Okay. Okay.
Most of them don't require hand signs. The ones that do are Chibaku Tensei, which is a special hand sign, just clapping your hands. The summonings from the animal path, and I think that's about it, right? Absorbing Jutsu doesn't require hand signs. The Asura path doesn't require hand signs. The human path doesn't require hand signs. And the Raka path doesn't require hand signs. Pain was already not using hand signs almost at all. And then of course when the series is ruined and Kaguya arrives, she doesn't weave hand signs because she's not a ninja, she's an alien. She doesn't even know what a hand sign is, so of course there are not gonna be hand signs in the Kaguya fight. And yeah, when we get to Boruto, everyone absorbs in jutsu without weaving hand signs. I mean, I've never seen a hand sign in that story. But all in all, people really overestimate the amount of jutsus that had hand signs since the beginning of the series. There are several jutsus, and many of them I've listed here, that never had hand signs to begin with. So there are definitely overreactions about the decreasing number of jutsus that require hand signs in the series. I mean, even in the last fight, Naruto versus Sasuke, there are hand signs being thrown around. And even in the Kaguya fight, Team Kakashi uses hand signs. So it's not as though they're completely gone from the story, much on the contrary. Yes, they could have been a little bit more used for a couple of jutsus, especially for the 10-tailed Jinchuriki characters. Honestly, that's not the biggest issue here. No, Kaguya and Boruto are definitely the biggest issues. Watch this other video right here.
As soon as Chakra was revealed to be alien space magic, Naruto was dead to me. Wait. Did I miss that part? When did they reveal it was alien space magic? Serious, why couldn't Madara be the final boss instead of Alien Witch? Wasn't she the mother of something? Didn't they beat her with her harem no jutsu? Disturbing hand fetish, this guy would have appreciated feet signs instead. True. It's the sage's mom. She's alien? I thought she was more of a goddess, like a deity. Is she supposed to be descended from people that came from the moon? Yeah, but they distracted her with her harem no jutsu.
Subscribe to this channel and like this video too. Thank you so much for watching.